Win big with new DRF All Access past performances. With one best-in-class product, you now get all three past performance formats. Go to DRF.com and use coupon code 1FREEPP for a free single card today.
Dan Illman, Mike Beer taking a look at race number 9 at Keeneland on Saturday. It's the Grade 1 Breeders Futurity. 2-year-olds going 1 mile and a 16th. A super important prep for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. And who knows, maybe we'll see 1 or 2 of these on the first Saturday in May at Churchill Downs. Before we take a look at the entries, we've got deals for you. If you're a DRFTV viewer, 10% off all DRF past performances. Please use the coupon code DRFTV10. Shop now. Use the QR code. Here's the field for the Grade 1 Breeders Futurity. $600,000 is the purse. We have a field of 11. Remember the short stretch at Keeneland, 1 mile and a 16th. It's the first wire finish, and we'll see what we get from Ferocious. The 7-figure 2-year-old in training purchase was a super impressive debut winner at Saratoga, then ran just fine in the Grade 1 hopeful behind the East Coast's best 2-year-old, Chancer McPatrick.
Yeah, I ran okay in the hopeful last time. Worked a lot harder in that race, Dan, before coming away second best. His debut was a serious performance over a wet track.
He draws the rail, which can be advantageous going 1 mile and a 16th at Keeneland. Let's see where our friends at Timeform US have him placed after the opening half mile, and they have him close to what could be a fast pace. East Avenue was a debut winner going 3/4 of a mile on the lead. He can make the front. Ferocious shouldn't be too far away. Optical was a gate-to-wire winner of his most recent start, and he can be close as well. I even think Dapper Moon, the 10, can get up close.
Yeah, Dapper Moon, was off to a very poor start in his debut, but had way more speed in his second start. So he could certainly be forward. I mean, we'll see if the pace is fast. I won't argue, though, with East Avenue being on the early lead. This horse showed plenty of speed from the start of his debut.
The number 6, Filoso, note the LP flag over his chiclet. That indicates that he has the fastest Timeform US late pace rating. Let's start things off with Ferocious. 8-length debut winner at Saratoga in the mud. Thought he ran in spots in the hopeful, Mike. Found good position on the outside early, then just seemed a little bit one-paced through the turn and into the stretch. Once Chancer McPatrick gets to his outside, however, he seems more bold and he re-rallies to get second.
Yeah, I'll agree with all that. He got bumped at the start of the race, but he was working hard from the far turn in this race and basically going nowhere, Dan. It almost felt like he wasn't going to run at all, but you're right. Once that winner moved up alongside him, he did really engage through the stretch. I thought he was game, only second best. We'll see. I mean, I'm still a little disappointed in that performance, but his debut was so good. You know that the talent is there. He'll be forward from the rail in here, and he's got enough pedigree to stretch out.
Saratoga Cruiser, the number 2, showed some moxie in his career debut. This race going a 2-turn mile at Horseshoe, Indianapolis. This is a New York bred debuting at Horseshoe, and he's got to pass them all at the 3/16 pole, but he did get a pretty quick pace to attack. They ran the opening quarter for these 2-year-olds going 1 mile in 23 flat. They're coming back to Saratoga Cruiser, and he inhales them.
Yeah, he's going to run by. Doesn't change leads here until right at the very end, but he's just grinding away. He's going to get the job done. You're right. They contested this pace in front of him. He sat last. He comes and he picks up the pieces at the end. I don't think I'll be betting him back against this field.
Optical, the number 3, made his most recent start in one of those maiden auction special weights at Churchill Downs, moving turf to dirt. It's a 1-turn mile race, and Optical, it was no illusion, just blew that field away to win by 10. He also had it very easy on the lead.
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard to evaluate. Certainly, he moved forward in there, and maybe just getting back to dirt made a really big difference for him. This is a very good trainer. So I wouldn't, totally dismiss this horse, Dan, but he's just hard to want to bet off of that most recent performance, as impressive as it was.
Brian Hernandez and Kenny McPeak having an unbelievable 2024. Mystic Dan, Torpedo Anna, can they do it again with the 4 Handsome Pants? This horse was a big price for his career debut, and why not? Going a 2-turn mile and a 16th, never easy for a first-time starter. This horse did get some pace to attack, and he ran by him late, a likable performance.
Man, he was the only first-time starter in that field, too, so he gets a little bit of extra credit from me. I don't know about you, Dan. I liked everything about that debut. He got himself into a good position. He always traveled in that race like he was going to run. He moved himself into position around the final turn, and once he got room, I mean, the horse that was second to him was 3 to 5. Right alongside this horse at the top of the stretch, trying to keep him in. He just made his own room and then outfinished that horse.
While Handsome Pants was the only first-time starter in that race, East Avenue caught a field solely comprised of first-time starters, and he was the best one by a long way, and they knew They bet him down to even money in that 10-horse field. He took him gate to wire. I thought he had a pretty easy pace, but he sure looked impressive striding away from them in the stretch.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's not like that pace was super fast, but he took control of that race right from the start, and you could tell up the backstretch that field had no chance to get near him. He was really, really impressive in there, as you point out. They bet him hard in there. He's got a huge pedigree. He's bred to go on. They're going to stretch him right out in a Grade 1 race. This horse, he might be pretty good.
Filoso, the number 6. You got a feeling Chad Summers was prepping this horse, going 3/4 of a mile in his career debut at Saratoga. They found a good spot coming out of the chute at a mile second time out, and Filoso got it done. Let's watch Filoso's stretch run. He comes from off of the pace in here, and Filoso's down towards the inside. I thought all in all, this trip worked out very well, but this looks like a big, good-looking City of Light that kicks away nicely in the stretch.
Yeah, he did some good things in here. If you go back, earlier in this replay too, I mean, it looked like Dylan Davis tried to get him started a little bit earlier, but he had to steady behind horses. He was able to regather, come up the inside. He wins this race for fun. His debut was a promising performance then. Poor start in that race, but ran late.
Macero, the number 7, was a promising gate-to-wire winner over a muddy track, sprinting for trainer Dale Romas. He's an expensive son of Not This Time, and they tested him in the Iroquois last time out, and I'm not sure if we learned enough about him because he was wired by Jonathan's Way, who is a very, very good 2-year-old on his way to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure what to do with the Iroquois either. I mean, he didn't run great in there, but he didn't run terrible either. Just sort of in some traffic through the stretch too. I mean, it was fine. I did really like his debut. I thought he did a lot of good things in there because he got shut off at the start and was last, and he just carried a really long run in that race and just kept going through the stretch.
Big Boat, the number 8, made his debut for a trainer that excels with first-time starters, and he did not disappoint. He really was produced in the stretch after sitting in mid-pack and kick clear. 73 Beyer speed figure, nothing to seize at. Now he's got to stretch out and step up.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how he handles all that stuff. I mean, to me, he off of his debut, I just felt like, and maybe I obviously could be wrong about this. I just felt like more than anything else, he got the right trip in that race. It really worked out for him, and he was the one who was in position to take over from the tired leader in mid-stretch. And I mean, I thought he ran fine, but I didn't think he ran great, and I didn't want to bet him back against this field.
The 9 Tenacious Leader disappointed a little bit in his career debut, but that was a 5.5 furlong sprint for Todd Pletcher. Todd found a good spot for him second time out, an off-turf race stretching out to a mile, and we're going to watch that performance. Tenacious Leader was favored in this race. He parked himself right off of the leader, and once he is asked to run, he goes.
Yeah, I thought he ran fine here. Again, it is an off-turf race, so who knows? Maybe he's just not beating anything. I like the way he finished it, though. It sort of makes me feel like, distance is what he really wants. And listen, maybe he's just a turf horse because his with anticipation was really good, but I have no problem with Todd switching him back to dirt for this.
Ran him in the turf and the with anticipation last time out, as Mike mentioned, and he ran just fine against a good 2-year-old turf horse in Zulu Kingdom. Dapper Moon is up next. He's done nothing wrong from 2 starts, but really took a big step forward on the Beyer scale in this race, going 7/8 of a mile at Saratoga for trainer Dallas Stewart. I like that he showed more interest from the gate. He found a good position just off the lead. He's going to take over in the stretch, and then he really widens the final 16th of a mile.
Yeah, he ran really well in here. Both he and Filoso both debuted in the same race, that 6 furlongs. They both had trouble at the start, and then they both ran really well in that race, and they both came back to win out of there with much improved performances, including this one. I mean, I like the fact that he didn't just blast off to the front, even though he got off to a better start than he sat off another horse. He really pulled away from that field late.
Completing the field is the 11, Ready for Peace, going out for trainer Nacho Correas, who already has a couple of Breeders' Cup bound horses, and Mufasa, who's going to the dirt mile, and Didia, who's heading for the filly and mare turf. Ready for Peace has started twice on turf, but this guy's got some dirt pedigree. He's a more than ready half-brother to Jovia, who was third in the Belmont Stakes, and a half to another stakes-placed dirt runner. Ready for Peace, I think, will handle the surface. How he handles this company from a very difficult outside post position is a different story.
Yeah, very many questions for this horse to answer. He's a real wild card in here, though, because his debut was good, and I thought he ran fine against a good field last time.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Breeders' Futurity, race 9 at Keeneland on Saturday. Mike's going with East Avenue. He's got speed, he's got pedigree, he's got class, he's got connections.
Yeah, I'm just going to take him in here. Listen, he's going to have to stretch out here off of only one race, but I did really like his career debut, and he's got the pedigree to handle at least this distance. So I'm just going to take him. I put McPeak's horse second just because I really liked his debut. But I do think that your horse, Ferocious, I do think he's the horse to beat.
I think he's the horse to beat. Unfortunately, he's probably going to take a lot of money in here, but I like that they're incrementally stretching him out in distance. And I think he just gained a lot of experience from that hopeful where he was a little bit green. He'll likely be in the thick of things when they turn into the short stretch. 110.54 for me, 5419 for Mike, and the Grade 1 Breeders Futurity on Saturday at Keeneland. Best of luck. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like and subscribe button below for more great DRF content, including race of the days, stakes previews, and lots more. You can find it right here.